All right, everyone, I want to show you guys my PA17. I kind of want to go over a little bit about how I have it rigged up. It's not perfect. There's still a lot more that I need to do. I've only been in it a couple of times, so I noticed the last time that I was out on a tournament in the boat, there were a couple of things that I knew I needed to change, and so it's going to be a process, but I just want to show you guys how I have it rigged up right now, the different things, and go over all of that. So here we go. That's the PA17 on this trailer. So this is a Trail X trailer. This is one of my favorite things about having the PA17. This trailer is so light. It allows me to pick it up with 2 fingers. If you go on my Instagram account, I showed a small example of that. But if I needed to, if there wasn't like a nice boat ramp or anything like that, I could take this off of my van and then just wheel it down as if it's on a cart. In fact, actually, I did that with a buddy. We were up at his ranch and there was no boat launch, so me and him, we just took it off the van and launched it ourselves, and it was so simple, so easy. I just absolutely love this trailer. This trailer is one of the things that convinced me about getting a PA17. So we'll start right up here at the front. I've got a Point One again. I had a Point One last year on my PA14. This thing is a necessity in my opinion. What it does is it allows your boat to, it allows when you're using a GPS, to orientate your boat on your GPS on the map with the correct orientation of the boat. So if your boat is facing forward, a lot of times if you don't have this, if you're drifting backwards, the GPS is going to point backwards even though you're pointing forwards. So the Point One allows you to keep that orientation all the time, so it's very beneficial to deep water fishing. So all I did is I took off the little sticker that's right there that says Hobie. I drilled into it and then had that wire run all the way down, all the way to the back. And as you can see over here, right under there, I had those wires come out of the through hole right there and then run over to the fish finder right there. The reason why I did that is because that way I can use the fish finder in the center position, and I could also use it in the back position as well. And then just right here, I have my, let's see if you can see it, there you go. My FPV battery is right in there. I put a little Velcro on the bottom so that way it doesn't slide around. So the wiring was not that bad. It was actually pretty simple. Honestly, the hardest part was the Guardian transducer. It just makes it a little bit more complicated, and especially on a PA17, because flipping this kayak on its side is really not possible. I mean, I guess it is, but for me, in my garage by myself, taking this off the trailer, I wasn't going to do it. So it became a little bit more complicated. I would suggest go watching Tim Percy's video on how to install a transducer on the new Guardian mount. He has a very good in-depth video, but I will say this. You're supposed, like inside here, you're supposed to tie the string so that way it keeps tension. Watch this video and you'll understand what I'm saying. But instead of tying it, because I wasn't able to flip the boat over and it was just more difficult, all I did is I wrapped the string around that screw and I screwed it down so that way the screw is holding the tension of that rope, and I think it works awesome. I have no problem with it, and it's cinched down, so that's what worked for me. I'm not trying to say that that's the best way to do it, but it just worked for me on the PA17. I put an anchor trolley on here. Anchor trolleys I think are just extremely important. I got to use it the other day at the tournament, and it worked very well, just like all anchor trolleys do. This boat, the PA17, is obviously it's 17 feet long, so it's longer than a PA14. PA14s are known to be not the most agile in the water, so getting a 17, I already knew that. I already knew that it wasn't going to be agile, but for a 17-foot kayak, I'm very surprised at how agile it is. It's just slightly less agile than a PA14 in minor adjustments. So like if you're trying to sit on a spot and the wind's blowing you, just trying to keep your boat in the same spot. That's kind of what I'm talking about with minor adjustments. It's a little bit more difficult than the PA14 just because of that extra 3 feet, but it handles very well, and it's also extremely fast. It's way faster than PA14. So I'm very, very happy with it. Again, just going back to the maneuvering, I never really liked the maneuvering on a PA14, so obviously I'm not going to be thrilled about the maneuvering on a PA17. But again, for a 17-foot kayak, it maneuvers incredibly well for that length. So I've added, here's a couple of things I've added. So I took off the mesh. As you can see over here, they have these little mesh pockets. I took those off and I put the Burley Pros on there on both sides. So this one is the jig bucket, and then that one is I don't know what that one's called, but you can put your scissors and pliers in there. And these were the Van Bros that I had on my chair. But what I ended up doing is this one obviously has it on the chair on the jig bucket, but on this side, let me climb over here real quick. I bought the new prison pocket. The reason why I like this is because before I had this one on the seat, and I didn't really like having the scissors going out that way. So it pointed out that way, and it was just kind of annoying. So I really like the upward orientation, and then you get a second pocket, and you also get a little jig pocket. So because the PA17 is wider, this extra space that comes out isn't going to affect my rod storage or anything like that. So it's just another reason why I love the PA17. More space, more room. It's really, really awesome. And again, I put that prison pocket there. What I've really enjoyed doing is putting my rods in the back, so that way I don't have anything sticking up, obviously, except these two things. Now I'll get back over here. The power pole, and I'll talk about that in a sec, but I got my power pole mounted on here. It's the same power pole mount that you put on a PA14, so I was just able to take that off and put it on here. I've got the external battery. It works fine for me. I enjoy it that way. I don't have extra wires, and it's really awesome. Obviously, I need a flag. I just moved that flag over there. I don't like the flag. Right now, I don't have an H crate. I sold my H crate with the PA14, so I didn't think I needed an H crate, and I kind of don't, but I do want it. One, to put the flag up there, and then two, for storage to be a little bit more organized. The last time I was out here, I had stuff all out here in the back, and I found out that it just did not work for me. So I want to be able to put my H crate in here, and to be able to put those boxes. I actually have a couple of more jig buckets or jig boxes and crankbaits that I used to have in my H crate, and I kind of want to put it there so that way it keeps things a little bit more organized, and then that way I can put the flag and the light on top of that. The other thing that I've been thinking about doing, and I think Yak Attack has it, but I want to get they have a, it's just the top part with one of those little screws, and I want to screw it in to the top of the power pole. I already have one thing sticking up really high. I don't really want two things, plus that can, I mean, it's not really going to get in the way of my casting. I just don't really want it there, but that's just where I have it right now. So I'll have to look into that. We'll see. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure all of these things out, and yeah, I'll just keep figuring it out. I don't really know the best place to put a hog trough. I've had it over here before, but underneath the rods, it kind of gets a little bit annoying and cumbersome. So I'm trying to put it right there. We'll see. But I also just put this tray, this bucket tray or what, tackle bin right here. I'm trying to figure everything out, because obviously this takes away from my standing in the front. But last time I didn't necessarily stand all that much. So I think it might be a case-by-case basis of whether or not I have that jig bucket right there or I move it. So if it's in the spring and I'm pitching and flipping or something like that, I might move that to the back. We'll see. I don't really know, or I might move it to the outside. I'm still just trying to figure all these things out, but that way the hog trough fits right underneath there, and it's also easily accessible. The last thing that I can think of right now is I have my fish finder. This is the new Lowrance HDS 7 Live. If you can get a 9, I would probably say get a 9. With everything that I had spent, honestly, getting the 7 was something that it was what I was able to do, and it's enough for me. I had a 7 on my last kayak, so I knew that the 7 was enough, so I just went with the 7. Maybe later on I can get a 9, but the 7 was just fine. I absolutely love this unit. It is amazing what Lowrance has done, and I will say this, Lowrance has been trying to say that they're comparable with Humminbird. It's not. Mega imaging is, I mean, it's so clear. It's so obvious how much better the image is on Humminbird than Lowrance. But I will say on this new HDS Live, the image is way better than the previous ones. It's very comparable to the Humminbird. I wouldn't say it's better, but it's comparable. And all of the features that this has, I'm still learning it, but it has incredible features on it that really help me out. I love the Genesis Live, where it's auto mapping as you're fishing and as you're sitting over a spot. It keeps updating the mapping so that way you get an accurate contour of what's underneath you. What's awesome about that or another thing that they add is custom contour colors. That's really huge, because let's say you're fishing in 15 feet of water and you know you're going to be fishing there. You can change the colors of each depth level. So if you're fishing, well, I'll give you an example. So what I have right now is I have 0 to 5 feet as white, 5 to 10 feet as like a really light blue, 10 to 15 as a lighter or as a slightly darker blue, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 40 feet, and getting higher shades of a darker blue all the way until black, all the way up to 40 feet. What that helps for me doing is when I see contours, sometimes they don't have the number on the contours of what the depth is because they're so close together. So sometimes you don't know if it's a crevice or if it's a mound or whatever. But now that you have the colors, you're able to see, oh, it's going down or it's going up, the contours of the map. So I really love that about this unit. It's awesome. But this is my PA17 right now. This is how I have it rigged up for tournament bass fishing. I look forward to doing more videos and showing you guys how it works out for me throughout the rest of the season. So that way you guys can make a good decision on whether or not you want to do this. I had been thinking about this kayak for 3 years now, something like that. And it was just, there wasn't enough videos online for me to be able to make that decision. But now I've done it, and I'm absolutely loving it right now. We'll see how it goes throughout the rest of the season, but my plan is keeping this kayak for a very long time. It doubles as a family kayak for me. That way I can keep the kayak on the trailer and take my family out without having to switch anything other than just grabbing a second Mirage Drive, or just leaving that Mirage Drive and grabbing the second chair. And then that way I can sit in the back, my wife can sit in the front, and my 3.5-year-old son can sit in the middle. There's so much room on this kayak. It's so versatile. I absolutely love it, and in my opinion, this trailer makes a huge difference. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll see you on the water.